So hi everyone and welcome to this webinar. I'm Kylie.
And I'm Binny.
And we have got probably about an hour's presentation on some email marketing tips and tricks and hints and awesome good ideas around how to make email marketing work for your business. So we're going to jump into that and then hang around at the end for some Q&A. So if you've got questions, please make sure you use the Q&A box in the software so that we can have a chat about it towards the end. But we were really surprised by the response to this webinar.
It was full on.
It was totally full on. Like, we've had more response to this than to a few that we've had in the past. So I think there's a real need for people to want to get their head around how email marketing can work for their business.
Yeah. And this is a new bonus. We've actually got a written e-booky style document within our Content Kin e-course dedicated to this. So a lot of this content is from that. So I'll give you a bit of a sample of what one of our bonuses looks like, but it's also a lot of questions we get asked in person at workshops and when you're doing speaking gigs and things.
Yeah. And email marketing has been one of those things that I think in the last little while, with the shiny bright lights of social media, tended to kind of fall off the radar for a lot of people, or seem like it was too hard, or you weren't necessarily getting the results that you were seeing on social media. But over time, that's actually been proven that it's a really fantastic complementary hand-in-hand tool for your digital marketing toolkit. So it's not a all or nothing kind of scenario. This idea of using email marketing is a really essential form of your whole digital marketing toolkit in business.
And it's definitely not dead. If you've heard the rumours that with social email marketing's dead, that is simply not true. And that's, I think, why we needed to have this focus and to reinvigorate you, because we'll admit probably until about a year ago we'd probably ignored our email list, and a lot of what we're sharing with you today is we sort of went on a brainstorm, what are all the things that we can do, and these are a lot of the things that we've done and seen a massive growth in our subscriber list as a result.
Like running webinars.
Yeah, exactly. Prime example, number one in front of you now.
Run a webinar. And we are running it on Zoom software, which we highly recommend. We've used other software platforms, but this one, up until today, has been very reliable and a great tool to use. But we'll start with getting going. So,
well, those that don't know us, I'm Binny over there on the left. And although my hair is a lot shorter right now and I'm feeling the cold breezes, co-pilot here at of Kin, but I also am the founder of another business, The Inkling Effect. And we've known each other for about 20 years now.
Yeah, where we first met in our online sales roles.
Yeah.
We were out selling websites to small businesses and then worked at 2 or 3 other startups after that.
So digital's been a big part of our careers for about almost 20 years now.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got the grey hair and wrinkles to prove that as well. And that's me. So one thing that we wanted to really point out from the get-go that we talk about a lot in all of our presentations and our courses is the importance of email over social media. And that one of the main things is social media is something that you rent. So all of your accounts that you have on social media, as fantastic as they are and as connected as they are to building community, it is still a space that you rent and that you don't own. Whereas your email list, your blog subscribers, even your text SMS lists, if you're in an industry that also collects those, you own them. They're an asset and nobody can take them away from you. What we've found in the last few years was when Facebook came along, a lot of digital marketers got really caught up with the fact that it looked like it was free advertising and we could jump on there and we could grow our communities and we could post a lot of content. We could have people interacting with us and actually see a response from that. Up until the point when the social media platforms decided to start changing the rules and started to make it a little bit more difficult for businesses to come up in those social media feeds. And Facebook, was probably the biggest culprit of that.
Yeah.
A few years ago now, and organic reach has dropped considerably, massively on Facebook, and is starting to also decline on other platforms. One, because of algorithm changes that the owners are bringing in, but that's also a response to the amount of content and the sheer volume number of users on those platforms as well. So it's actually quite tricky to, you know, keep in front of everybody that follows you, because they're also seeing a lot of content from other people and following other people as well.
And there was a lot of talk about, you know, you've got to follow where people's attention is going, and because social was driving a lot of time and attention over there, there was chat that will email will die, everyone will interact via Messenger and Facebook and that kind of thing, and we've seen that that is not necessarily the case. So there's a big refocus back on email, where it was probably not the flavour of the month for a little while there.
Yeah. And the factor of the matter is that we all use email every day, multiple times a day. It's personal. It sits in our inbox. It doesn't go away until we do something about it. And you know, it actually has a way of communicating messages that are actually a little bit more tricky to get through when we're using social. So again, it's sort of a nice complementary tactic to use. But one thing that we always say with your social media following is to always be converting your social media followers into your email subscribers.
Yeah. What I'd love to know, just at this point, if you, because obviously we often subscribe to email and receive a few and then just go, oh, it's not really giving me what I want. Who are the people that you've subscribed to that you love getting their emails and you will not unsubscribe? Just type them in and make sure that everyone can see what you're typing, so that we can share some great emails that you're enjoying, and perhaps give people some other businesses or services or whatever it might be that they can go and have a look at for some inspiration and ideas and see what it is you love about them.
That would be great. Thank you. The Lib Stories, yay. The Seth Godin blog, yes, absolutely. Fat Mom Slim.
Yeah.
Design files. I open design files every single day without fail. Chris Brogan, he's a killer as well.
I've got Medium, Greatest, WME.
Yeah.
Yeah, top 5 movement.
Yeah. Creative Mornings is fantastic as well. Yeah. And so what you see is that you actually do have emails that you do regularly open and access, because you feel that they are delivering valuable content that you don't want to miss out. So all of the content that they are delivering to you in your email is in some way providing you with insights, hints, education, inspiration, links to other valuable content that they've created and curated. So email gives you that ability to actually sit into somebody's email inbox and be looked forward to every day, and create a bigger value exchange that you can potentially get than you can get in social media. So
jot down some of those too, so that you can go and explore.
Yeah. Oh, I love Me and Ola as well. She's fantastic. I love Sarah. Yep, Holsty. I love Holsty. I got their email today, opened it. So email is actually far from dead. When we are thinking about whether or not people are actually using it, it is far from dead. We can see that we're evidence in this group today that we are using emails all the time. And there's probably a really good chance that a good percentage of you actually subscribed to this webinar today because you're on our email list. Okay. So thank you. Local is lovely. So when we actually look at some of the stats and research around email converting to businesses, the research has shown that email remains a significant and effective way to acquire customers, more so than social media. So when we look at industry, we're still hearing industry say to us that the results that they're finding from email actually converting to paying customers is still higher than what we're seeing in social media. Now, I'm sure that there are still some outliers about that, and that there are businesses that will, be saying to me, but I get people who are coming into my business, showing me, I saw this on Instagram, I want to buy it. I have no doubt that absolutely happens. But what we're seeing from this research out in the marketplace is that actually receiving an email also prompts people to purchase. And that to be 3 times that of social media, and that on average those people who actually are prompted by email spend approximately 17% higher than those that see you on social media. So again, it's not one or the other, it's a complementary to both, and it's also seeing what are the different, how do people respond to you differently in the different channels. So one of the things in the consulting work that I do with small business is one of the very first questions that I will ask them is the size of their email list, how they're actually collecting email addresses, and when was the last time that they sent an email out. And those 3 questions are really, really insightful as to how the business is tracking. And I'll give you an example from a client that I had who was a store in New Zealand, and she was a gift homeware store that also sold a bit of jewellery and a bit of fashion. And she'd been in business for a few years, really successfully. And then she contacted me because it was looking like she was coming into her Christmas, ramp up period that retail looks at. And for the first time in a few years, her sales were actually flatlining. So they weren't actually increasing year on year as they had actually been in the last few years. And she was like, I don't understand what's going on. Is it we've just reached saturation? And so I asked her those 3 questions, and what I found out was that she hadn't sent an email in 6 months. And I said, well, that's the very first thing that we're going to do, is that we're actually going to have a look at your email list, and we're going to reactivate them. We're going to send them another email with some kind of incentive, or just a message just to say, hi, we're still here, we have new stuff arriving for Christmas, and just see what impact that had. And of course, within a couple of hours of actually sending that email, she started getting inquiries. She saw an uplift in foot traffic in her business, and we were again off to the races. She had also stopped collecting email addresses. It was kind of like you forget about the things that are actually working for you when everything is kind of like, chuggling along nicely, which it had been in her business, that she actually just took her foot off the pedal a bit and stopped doing all the things that was actually driving her business.
And another example in relation to, and that's obviously product-related businesses, so the service industry, Anita, who's actually on this webinar today, was talking to me this week. She'd sent a blog post out this week about being Mental Illness Week, and talking about overcoming depression and some remedies that she had that were more naturally orientated. The minute she sent that blog out as an email post, somebody picked up the phone and called her, because they then understood her approach to things and what she did, and was sold that was who she wanted to work with. Yeah. So a very different type of email, but both resulting in business.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just start moving on. So email is definitely a really highly effective way of converting customers into your business. So
do you want to go have a bit of a go? give your voice a rest. Have a water. So if we're talking about, and some of the biggest barriers for people are the tech aspects, and they think that they need some kind of high-tech mechanism to set up an email list and to manage emails, and that is absolutely not the case. So you can start collecting emails very old school with pen and paper. So if you are too scared or just haven't got around to setting something up, don't let that stop you starting your list. Even if you're just asking people to fill it out on a clipboard in your shop, or when you're at an expo or whatever it might be, just start today. That's me being bossy. Excel spreadsheets, the next level up from that. Then you've got your email marketing software. Most people, and I guess most people on this call, if you've got an email happening already, are using probably MailChimp, because you can start using that free, and it's fairly user-friendly. We started on MailChimp, and earlier this year converted over to ConvertKit, because it started getting more complicated, having different courses and different offerings that we wanted to be able to customise and tag people with their interests. And when we started having downloads on our website, we wanted to know who downloaded what, because then we knew what they were interested in. So ConvertKit is designed in a very different way, that it's about the person. So that you don't have lists like MailChimp and everyone's on a different kind of list. ConvertKit's about the person, and then you have different tags that are attached to that person of what they're interested in or what list they're on. So it's a different way of looking at it, and it really resonated with us. Yeah. That's not a sales pitch, but obviously we're using it and we love it.
It kind of depends where you are on your journey, because MailChimp is a really great base platform. If it's just a simple way of getting started, a simple opt-in, one list, and you want to experiment for free without any kind of upfront commitment. And once you've kind of got your mojo on with seeing how it can really work for you, you can then either upgrade to the MailChimp platforms that have more powerful tools in them. But we jumped over to ConvertKit. That was kind of just gave us a little bit more flexibility. But I've also heard ActiveCampaign is really good, but we haven't actually used that directly.
And all of those options have great videos and tutorials and heaps of learning experiences if you want to immerse yourself in that and work out what's going to work best for you. The next thing that we ventured into was the website pop-up, and we had a lot of mixed opinions about that. We've sort of felt, no, that's not us. We don't want to bombard someone with something, you know, popping up right in front of their face when they're on our site. It's probably the single most effective thing that we did on the site. So get over that and pop it up there. And there are beautiful ways that you can do it. It's all about the language that you use. And we'll talk a little bit later about, you know, offerings and incentives to make it not just about give us your email address. We also, and MailChimp, ConvertKit, SumoMe and HelloBar are options that you can use to power that website pop-up that just pops up over the screen.
And yeah, HelloBar is what we're using at the moment at the top of our website to download our social media survival guide, and that's free for how we're using it at the moment. So again, it's something that you can implement for free, give it a bit of a test, but you do need obviously a good opt-in offer in order to be able to use it. Yeah.
And then the next basic is an autoresponder. There's nothing more lovely than when you sign up to something to get a beautiful message back in reply, welcoming them, telling them what they're going to get in response for, you know, think of their email address as a currency. By them giving up their email address, it's like money, and they want to know what they're going to get in return and how you're going to treat them and how you're going to be, and that they are actually important and meaningful to your business. So an autoresponder is great, and all of the mail the platform, thank you.
That's right.
That we've mentioned all offer that kind of thing, and with MailChimp you've got to pay more or a monthly fee to have access to that, but it's beautiful. And permission always, very, very important to have permission before you add anyone's email to your list.
Well, it's actually a legal requirement.
Yes, it is.
So you want to make sure that you get their permission, and obviously if you've got some opt-in on their site, by default when they're filling out their form, then they're giving you permission. But don't go collecting people's email addresses and without their permission and then emailing them or selling them off to anybody else. That's kind of uncool. So always asking permission from people. We've just got a quick couple of questions already. So one of them is, how do you differentiate emails from newsletters? They can be the same.
And we'll touch a little bit later on about the different types of emails that you can have, and that might clarify that a little bit, because you can have a different slant to the kind of content that you have within the email that you send out.
Yeah. So yeah, sending an email can, a newsletter is just a type of email that you can send. And then another question from Wendy is saying, so an email can be a blog post. Absolutely.
That's what the Leap Stories are.
That's exactly what the Leap Stories are. It's repurposing content that appears in one spot into another channel. So it's taking something that I've posted on the website, and in my case with the Leap Stories, I do email them out in its complete form, as you see on the website. But I've also seen other bloggers who will do just an intro into what you can, into the blog post, and then it says click here to read the whole story. So good content marketers repurpose one piece of content into multiple ways.
Absolutely, because it's laziness at heart that you don't want to have to go and write something new.
It's just
efficient. Okay, either way, I don't mind.
And also too, some people might not think to actually go to the website every Sunday night and read it, but they're very happy to get it delivered into their inbox as a prompt because it's something that they value. All right,
moving on. So this is a big one.
Yes. So I'm going to take a punt that there's a large percentage of you out there that actually read your email mostly on a mobile device, mostly on your phone, and probably also have a good crack at looking at it before you even get out of bed in the morning and maybe even last thing at night. So the stats that show mobile usage of email now shows that over 50% of email is opened on a mobile device and read on a mobile device. So when you are thinking about using email, always make sure that you use a platform that has what we call a mobile responsive template, which all the ones that we've just mentioned to you, MailChimp and ConvertKit, they all are responsive, so that if you read it on a big screen, you see it a particular way, but if you open it up on your small screen on your phone, the format will be optimized to be read on a smaller screen, because that's probably going to be one of the main ways that people are going to interact with your emails. So always be thinking about it being read on a smaller screen. So if you are creating graphics for your email, just make sure that the graphic, while you might be designing it on a desktop screen, how it could actually be read on a small screen, when it kind of gets compressed down to a tiny little image, is it going to be okay? So yeah, always be thinking about using designing for mobile, and that pretty much goes across the board. If you're a digital strategist these days, mobile, we start even with website design with mobile interfaces first. All right, so how do we get people on that list, Ben?
All right, so my first tip to you is don't be shy. Actually let people know that you have a mailing list. And it sounds really silly to say that, but even though you know you have one, it doesn't mean that they know that you have one. And also, they don't know what the benefits are of being on that list. So a great chance for you to say, hey, you're on our list because we offer this, 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 and this. They're going to go, yeah, awesome. And it's not going to be one of those icky, salesy feeling conversations that you're going to have. So that's where it's really important to work out what you will be offering anyone that's on your list. And if it is just beautiful blog posts every week, that's enough if that's what they want. So don't feel that you need to sit down and have a whole detailed strategy on what your offering is. So ask them the old-fashioned way. And that's not just in store. If you're at an event, if you're at a speaking gig, if you're at a trade show, anywhere you may cross paths with people in person, use that opportunity to ask them. Then there's the ask in the digital form, which is installing the website pop-up. So really all that is doing, if you don't have a physical store, and we both know that many of you don't, or you're not, or you're a service that requires just the person that's doing business with you to come to your location, then your asking is going to be done via your website. So it's really important that you have that website pop up. So if you've got phobias like we did about having it, it's time to get over those, because that's you meeting your customer, greeting them when they arrive, and then telling them all the wonderful things you can offer them. Install a smart bar. So if you go to the Ovkin website, you'll see it's the bar across the top that asks you if social media is driving you crazy, and then you can download our guide. So usually something like that will offer them something. So that's where you probably do need to sit down and think about a valuable offer, and go back to the kind of questions people ask you all the time, or the things they're really interested in that you offer. And that's probably your best tip as to what your offering is going to be in that smart bar. If you do write blogs, then you can pop a little button, or ConvertKit allow you to just insert some code into the bottom of each blog post that then asks people, do you want to sign up, or do you want to download this item? Or you can choose whatever it is from a whole list of options that you've set up, and you can just insert that into your blog post. So keeping in mind, when someone that isn't a customer arrives on your website because they found you in a search result and ended up on your blog post, they know nothing about your business, and they've never been to your website, and they may only ever read that one blog post. That's your one opportunity to capture them, that if they loved how you write and they loved what you're offering, then ask them to join your mailing list. So think about it that way, about the way they entered that page and why you may never see them again. You want to capture something while they're there. Social call outs. Ask people on social media, hey, are you on our mailing list? This is what you get when you join. We're not going to tell you about all of that, or you're not going to get that just by following us on Instagram. So don't feel very proud about your Instagram following, but try and convert them over to your mailing list. So be blatant about that.
Because if Instagram continue to change the algorithm, we're going to see what's going to happen. Like what happened with Facebook, it's going to be harder and harder to get organic reach, and we're already seeing somewhat of a decline from that. So yeah, it's a super big, important one.
Absolutely. Lead magnet. So if you've never heard this term before, it's something that attracts people to give them your email address list. So it might be an ebook, it could be a free training session, a mini email course, a large online video course, whatever it may be.
A checklist.
Check anything. PDF download. It's something that it's the monetary exchange for their email address. So you're giving them something that they feel is of equivalent value for them to give up that valuable information about themselves. So one of those lead magnets could be what you use in your Hello Bar, but you may have some other ones throughout your website and we offer our free photography. No, we haven't done that yet. We're about to launch that. That's coming soon. Our photography guide on how to take photos on your smartphone. But we've got the social media survival guide. We've got our free video training series. So we've got quite a few and some others in waiting that we rotate around so that it keeps that fresh.
Yeah, and I've just put up on one of the pages on our website is the 2017 monthly planning calendar.
Yes, that's very popular.
Yeah, so and that gives people a reason to keep coming back as well. But but that's having lots of different offers that you can also rotate also keeps it fresh.
So again, think about the standard questions you get asked time and time again, or what people want to know about, or what knowledge you have that people are always going, oh, well, I'll go and ask Binny because she'd know, because she's always, knows the latest on whatever this may be. And you'll know what that is, or ask a friend. If you can't see that in yourself, ask somebody, what is it that I know, or that information that my business has that's going to be of interest to other people. Webinars, your prime example here. So, a good percentage of people that sign up to our webinars are existing customers. But this is a great way to do a call out on Instagram, and those that aren't on our mailing list join for this webinar. We're giving a lot of value by sharing our content, but in return, we've got an email address that we can then let you know about other things and enjoy all of our content as well.
Yeah, so the pipeline, so I've done quite a few public speaking gigs in the last few months, and those people have followed me on Instagram, and so then to be able to convert them over into providing additional value that we couldn't actually offer on Instagram is to offer a webinar, and then from there they're on the email list that we can then offer other great valuable tools and tricks that they can have. So it's like we said, it's a really important part of the whole marketing mix.
Yeah. Then you've got that basic thing, encourage when you send your emails out, have a line in there to say, if you like this or know someone that would really resonate with this content or would like to know about it, forward it on to them. It seems so blatant, but it prompts that person to go, actually, you're right, I do know this person, I'll send that to them. And we did this a lot with our free video training. We'd send the link to the video out in an email and say, hey, if you love this video or think someone else would love to go through this training with you, then forward it on to them. In your email signature, again, have a link there to a page on your website where they can sign up, because they may not be getting that email from being on your mail list. It could be because you're just interacting with them. And any competitions or collaborations you do with other people is a great opportunity to expand your mailing list and get them on.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So we just have a few quick questions. Lucinda asked that if somebody signed up to her blog, can you send them anything else? Because all she has at the moment is her blog and she doesn't have anything else yet, and thought that she might clarify. And there are no such things as silly questions, Lucinda. So we should have said that at the very beginning. No such thing as a silly question. Yes, you can. Once they're on your list, they have subscribed, they've opted in to receive information from you. So that's completely fine. Obviously, it's in your best interest to send them complimentary email to what they would find in their email, because if you start sending something completely off topic or out of the ballpark, they're going to go, what the hell? And are more likely to unsubscribe and to see some inconsistency. But if it's related to your blog topics, and perhaps it's an extension of what you're offering, and you're presenting a new offering around those topics, absolutely, they're going to be interested in it, and they've already opted in from you to hear from you, so that's completely fine. Cassie asked if there is a hashtag for the webinar.
Just
of Kin webinar. That would be pretty cool. That would be great.
Hashtag content Kin as well.
Yeah. And Claire has just asked, can I resend emails with a different subject line if I can see someone hasn't opened the previous content in MailChimp? Absolutely. There's absolutely no reason why you couldn't try a different subject line to see if that could get some cut through in the inbox. That's what very savvy digital marketers do, is that they constantly test and test and test, because even a small percentage increase in open rates can turn into another small percentage into conversion rates. And that's what we're looking at doing constantly as digital marketers, is looking for those fine tweaks, is looking for those opportunities to keep learning and to keep providing people with opportunity to dip into the valuable content that we're actually providing to them, that they've given us permission to send to them. So absolutely, no problems. And here's just a couple of examples that we pulled together. So a pop-up on your website doesn't necessarily need to look like, covering a whole screen, but it can. In this case, Dotty has more like a hello bar down the bottom of their screen, and they've actually given you an incentive to opt in. So when you sign up, you get 30% off your next full price purchase. So if you weren't already on their list, that would be a pretty strong incentive to actually sign up, because you are there on their site for a reason. And 30% off your first purchase is pretty enticing.
And Cotton On do that too when you're in store. If you sign up in store, your next purchase online. So it's a great way to get you moving from in store to online as well. Yeah.
This is another example of potentially a little bit more traditional kind of pop-up that we would have seen. And so there's not necessarily a really strong call to action here, other than to receive spa news and monthly spa treatment and product offers. Now, if you're really up for, making sure that you get the best deal on pampering yourself, you are going to sign up to that. So they haven't missed the opportunity to connect with their customers across time. This one's another interesting example of a pop-up. This website is actually is closed for renovation, but they do have a physical store that's still open. So they've used their pop-up to sort of communicate where their business is at, but they actually give you a $50 off first purchase voucher when you click to sign up, which is a pretty generous incentive to sign up. Now this one is a different one, Simple Green Smoothies. They have a couple of different offers here on their website. So they have this banner on their homepage, which is click here to try our three-day meal plan. And when you click through to that, you can sign up to that and they will send you all the details. There's the free challenge that they have up in the top right-hand corner as well. And then down in the bottom right-hand corner, they've also got an invitation to join their 30-day green smoothie challenge. So they've got lots of opportunities for you to actually opt in to receiving content and joining their tribes. Oh, this one looks familiar.
Hello. Yet to launch, but this is my revamp of my other business. But what I've got here on the side, and that just pops in coming from the side of the screen, and it gives the user of the site an opportunity, if they don't really know what it is that we're offering on the site. We've got a free training to find your superpowers, and you can register then and it'll take you straight over and you can watch that free training at that moment. Incentives for joining. So there are plenty of ways that you can incentivize people, but the first question you need to ask when you're trying to work out what an incentive that's going to work is going to be is what's in it for them. So we've covered a few of those, like subscribe and get a discount on the spot, subscribe and get a discount on your next visit or your first purchase. Subscribe and get a free gift, and that could be a physical gift or it could be an electronic gift of a cookbook or an ebook or any kind of checklist or something along those lines. And then you've got downloads, ebooks, how-to guides, and we've got a few of those that we offer as well. Did you want to take the next round?
I was working with a company that has a range of special events for their venue that they manage, and we were thinking about other ways that they could incentivize people to sign up to their list. And so one of the things is, when they're releasing tickets to their event, is that they actually announce it first to their email subscriber list. Mm-hmm. So they're the first people that will get it. If you want to make sure that you get the best offers on seats or ticketing or a limited edition anything, then it's very common to see that the people who are on an email list will actually get the pre-release offer on that, or content that actually isn't announced anywhere else, that is only available to people on their email list. So in this case, we did a bit of a brainstorm. So it was pre-release offers or first round offers, exclusive offers that were for subscribers only, free offers that were also only for subscribers. So, in this case, it might have been, a spontaneous Friday afternoon, print out this email and come in and get a 2-for-1 on a glass of wine with your work buddies after work kind of thing. And birthday offers are another absolutely sensational way of increasing people wanting to be on your email list and also converting into paying customers. Everybody is in the mood to spend some money on themselves when it's their birthday. And from my experience from the companies that I've worked with, it's one of the most effective ways that you can actually drive revenue into your bottom line. It needs a little bit more setup, of course, because you need to be able to grab people's email addresses. But birth dates and their email addresses. And you might not all get it in one go. So you might actually be getting their email addresses, and once you've sent out an email, you might give them somewhere that they can go and sign up on a CRM in some place to give you their birth date. But also, even if you're just collecting it on paper and you ask them for their birth date, then you can have that stored somewhere, and then every month you can just send out emails with a birthday offer as well. So don't let the technology kind of get in the way of some of these things as well.
Baby steps.
It can be really effective. But birthday offers are a killer.
Oh, rookie mistake. Sorry, I didn't even realise we changed screen. There are some rookie mistakes that we'd like to bring to your attention. And if you avoid these, then you're pretty much halfway there to having a successful email strategy. So the number one, and we've covered it a few times, but it's because it's important, not asking people to sign up to your list is probably the biggest mistake. And I know half of you are probably more than that are sitting there shrinking in your seat going, oh, that's so me. I don't ask people ever. I don't have a pop-up. It's no wonder my email list is not growing. But the good news is the minute you start asking in person or you install some kind of pop-up, you will see people signing up to your email list. So that's really exciting. The next rookie mistake is actually incentivizing people to sign up and never sending them anything. They're wanting to hear from you because nobody, and you know yourselves because you've all got an email list and you're all somebody's customer, you don't give your email address over unless you really genuinely want to hear from them, because we become very particular about our inbox and protective. So if someone's giving you their email, they're a customer waiting to happen. So never forget that, and send them something. Even if you are out of inspiration, create a reason to make an email and keep in contact with them at least monthly or quarterly. Another big mistake, and we'll talk about those opportunities later on, is actually missing really good opportunities for your type of business to have a reason to send them an email. So, and we'll touch on those in more detail in a minute. And we've already talked about that, ignoring mobile usage. Do not pack your email with heaps and heaps and heaps of content or massive images, or try and embed a video within your email, are all massive no-nos when you think about the fact that the greatest percentage of readers of your email or newsletter or whatever it might be are going to be doing it on a mobile.
So
just some things to keep in mind.
Yeah, but the one thing about collecting email addresses and then never sending it is what I see a lot. And also people get kind of email list shame. They'll say, oh, I've only got 100 people on my list, or that's better than none.
Yeah.
So
every business started with one person.
Exactly right.
Everyone.
And even, one of my other clients, I think they had like 400. They'd been in business a few years and they had 400 people on their email list. And they were just kind of like wondering whether or not it was worth it. And we were using MailChimp. So I said, well, let's just send them an email. It's not going to cost us anything to actually send it. I can knock something up for you, in like an hour. You tell me what you want to highlight. And you know, lo and behold, the phone started ringing with, oh, yeah, I saw that you've got those tights in stock. Can you please put the couple aside? Some other people walked in, bought some gumboots. The whole, like, it just happened. It wasn't huge numbers, but it was, you know, it was a handful of customers that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise in that kind of setting.
Yeah.
So if you are wanting to also try and give a business owner or just justify to yourself how much an email address is worth to you, this is a great little tool that you can go in, because if you've got some idea of, if I can convert one person on my email list into a paying customer and my average value of my customer is X. So say, for example, you know, if you were selling a service like us and you were selling a course, then you know that, you know, if we can get one person to convert, it's going to result in this much money. So then we can get a sense, well, how much time and money is it worth us investing in actually sending an email to get that response? And this is a really great little tool for you to go in and check that, which is the email marketing ROI, and its little tool. And you can find that even if you're spending, say, $60 a month on email marketing software like us, if you're only getting, you know, 4 or 5 people actually converting, but, you know, each conversion is worth a few $100s, it is absolutely worth it. It's a massive return on investment.
Yeah, and that will only grow as your email list grows.
Yeah. But one of the other things, I also was speaking to a client and they were trying to get the difference between having kind of this membership idea, like, you know, become a member and have all the membership privileges, and a difference between an email list. And there's no reason that they can't be the same. So there's no reason why just subscribing to an email list can't then actually form a special kind of idea of these people being your VIPs that have access to all this other content and information and offers that people aren't on the list. So it's also a bit of a positioning kind of tool as well. So you can use your email list not just to subscribe to our email list, but become a member and reap these benefits, which was some of the things that we mentioned before. So you can get access to information that is only sent to our email list, or first round offers, or early bird offers, or special content that is only available on our email list.
So a couple of questions here. Tanya asked, she's built a list just through finding names and popping it on there as potential stockists. If they did not give you permission to put that together, yes, you probably should burn that list now. But there's no reason why you couldn't call each of them individually and ask them, would you like to be on the list to see what we've got, and get permission that way. But yes, if they haven't actually given you or typed in their email address, then you legally don't have permission to send them an email.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say that I wouldn't send them a mass email, but if you
personal,
if you could send a personal email to each person, you know, and that's personalized in a way to say, hey, you know, whatever the person's name is, because you would have wanted to find that. I really love, you know, your store, blah, 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 blah. This is what I do. And I think we could be a really good fit for each other. That's much less disruptive than just kind of a blanket spammy email that says, hey, do you want our stuff? So, yeah, I mean, permission always, but, you know, I email businesses all the time when I find their emails on their websites and they say, contact us. So I think, you know, there's a big difference between sending out a big spammy sales email and sending personalized emails to people that you haven't met yet, but you're interested in doing business with. So I wouldn't burn the list. I'd probably attack it from a different side. You know, work out potentially the top 10 people on that list that would mean the most for you to get on as stockists, and send them personal handcrafted emails that show that you understand what they're about and why they would be a really great fit.
Brooke, just to clarify, she's asked about what she's paying per email sent. How many emails are you sending per month, to understand, just to compare that to a monthly fee?
Might come back to that. I'm mindful of the time, so
my pen.
Yeah. So this is just an example here of one of the companies that I love that I may have just happened to work at. So, you know, when we talked about positioning your email list as a member list and that was available to get a whole lot of special offers. So these are some of the examples of exclusive member-only offers. So again, it's a bit of a positioning here. So there was an autoresponder. So if you sign up, you get an autoresponded email within 24 hours with a special offer in it that's only available for people who sign up to the list. You do get a surprise gift on your birthday if you've given your email address. You get first access to sale preview and promotions, and I know for a fact that they actually do member-only sales, so you have to be on the list to actually get access to those sales before anybody else, or they actually only run them for members. Special VIP nights and special events that you get invited to that aren't necessarily available anywhere else. The invites aren't available anywhere else. And they also send you a gift on your anniversary. So if you've been on the list 1 year, they'll send you a gift. If they send it on 2 years, they'll give you a gift. So those kind of tools are really in some of the bigger, more complex email marketing platforms. So Cheetah Mail is an example of where something like that was existing. And we're talking kind of big dollars, but there might be some just ideas in the making for you here of what you could potentially grow into. So there's another example of just a little pop-up down the bottom where you can actually register your email. But what we also wanted to get onto was then once you've actually signed up, as Benny suggested earlier, is actually having an automated email that actually comes back and that offers something in return for that value exchange of that email address. So an initial discount or perhaps, you know, a recipe is not surprising coming from a hospitality. Free tips, insider info and VIP access. So
and MailChimp, I think for an extra $10 or $15 a month activates automation. So if you're already using MailChimp, you don't have to find other software. It's within MailChimp to do that. Or ConvertKit has that as part of the monthly fee that we use.
Yeah. So Ben just touched on before about, you know, opportunities to sign up.
Yeah. So the frequency of your email and the timing is a good thing to think about before you set about doing it. I know I have a problem. If I commit to going every month on the first of the month, I'm going to send an email out to you. I struggle with that because sometimes I find it really difficult to pull the content together and get what I need to do ready and out on that particular date. It comes down to what you can commit to and what sort of content that you have. So don't overcommit. If you're not sending regularly, then choose a frequency that's not going to overwhelm you. And think about the different times of the year when there are things going on for your business that might be worth noting in your planning calendar that you're going to download from Ovkin today to prompt you that, well, this is, 3 weeks out from summer, maybe I should be reminding people about products or something that is related to summer within my business or things that you do at that time of the year. So think about that time of the year, a particular time within the month when you need to be starting to look at things. So jot that down in your planning calendar and then so forth with the week or the time of the day. And it's very dependent on the type of business that you run, what the relevancy is of timing. So you need to decide that, but really think about it and delve into what you offer and the needs of your customers and when you need to be reminding them that you two should be doing business together. Mm-hmm. Did you want to add anything to that?
No, but timeliness is huge. And it's one of the first things that we do is actually put together a calendar and have a look and say, where are opportunities to send something that's timely in the lives of our customers? And,
what we've found is if we've got perhaps an online course launching or the close of a course, Kylie's doing a couple of talks and there might be a Instagram workshop that we're doing, we look at that and go, we can't send 3 emails out in 1 week because that's bombarding people, and you will get unsubscribes and people are like, oh, again. So that's where we'll go, okay, well, let's do one group email that combines everything that's on, and then we'll do a reminder individually for each thing as it gets closer. So you've got to be mindful of, depending on what you're talking about, not overwhelming people because everything happens all at once for your business, and think about that with the content.
Yeah, the time of the week and the time of the day. There is some research that shows, depending on the industry you're in, perhaps times of the week might be more impactful than others. So, online shopping, you'll tend to see a bit of a spike in sales messages going out either a Sunday morning or Sunday evening. Entertainment businesses, they will be sending out emails of what's coming up for the weekend, maybe on a Wednesday or a Thursday. Tuesday is a pretty good day for sending email just in general, because we've sort of got past the Monday hump and kind of clean things up. If you're in retail, Thursdays tends to be a good day, because in many parts of the world you have the start of late night shopping, the starting on a Thursday night and sort of leading into a weekend. So, looking at the times of day. But, these are really things to kind of consider when you're further down the track. If it's just a matter of sending out that email once a month and just getting out, rather than sitting on the sidelines and wait to getting it perfect, that's what we're all about. Just get it out, because it's better to be sent and have it out in the wild than it is to be sitting, drafted and never actually being sent.
And we're all about testing. Test different times of the day and we can see what works.
Yeah. So the other thing is what could I possibly write about is the other objection that we get most of the time. Like, people, well, they're going to be interested in hearing from me. So just as we talked about, looking for opportunities, timely opportunities, whether that's around seasons and, things, dates and events that are happening in your community. That's probably the first place to start. And then looking at, are there any particular special events in your industry or things that are specific to your business? So we'll give you a couple of examples as we go down there as well. But really, it's a matter of sitting with your planning calendar and going, do we have new stock arriving? Do we always run a sale at this time of year? Is it coming up to the end of financial year? Is there something we can do around that? Is it Spring Racing Carnival, which is coming up for us in Melbourne? It's sort of started. Is there something timely around that in our business?
And if you've done a Content Kin online course, you'll have your personas. Pull them out, because if you haven't got an event or something that's seasonal, then write about something that your personas and your target market will be interested in hearing about.
Yeah. So when you're actually coming then to designing your email, always think that people are actually going to scan it rather than actually reading it. So we don't actually tend to like reading a lot on a screen. So we will tend to want to scan things. So, thinking about having images that communicate things, having headings and bullet points, having strong call to actions, and also make it shareable. So, it's easy for someone to forward to a friend if they want as well, within the anti-spamming guidelines as well. But think it's not all text-based, and also don't use too much just imagery either, because there's a couple of things around that. A lot of email providers that you use, like MailChimp and ConvertKit, will work with a lot of their free email hosts like Hotmail and Gmail and Yahoo Mail, to make sure that their emails that are sent from their systems actually get delivered into inboxes. But there's a couple of things that people like Gmail and Hotmail don't like, and they don't like a lot of emails, or emails that are just only all images and that don't have a good ratio of text, and they don't like emails that are sent out a lot all at once. So they'll also tend to throttle the email. So there is a whole science behind how emails are actually delivered into your inbox, but don't jib yourself short of actually having a good balance between images and text, and that there's a good balance between both.
So email types, and this came up a little bit earlier. So if you stop for a minute and have a think about the emails that you receive from other businesses, and each of them have their own style and focus. And so if you think back to the ones that you typed in earlier and the different types of emails that other people had typed in, they're all very different. So you need to decide what's going to be your focus. Now, it doesn't mean that every email you send out needs to be like that. You might do a newsletter every quarter that's full of industry news, trending news, might have a summary of some of the blog posts that were really popular that you've written that quarter. Less salesy and more informative, but you might also have different types of emails that complement that. So you could have a drip sequence email that when people sign up, they automatically get perhaps 5 a sequence of 5 different emails that talks about some common things that people ask you all the time, which is proving your expertise or your knowledge or your what your style might be if you're an interior designer, or some latest hairstyles for the season coming up. So it's welcoming them, but also giving them a taste of what you're all about. You could have an RSS feed set up. So this is how the Leap stories are done. So the blog post is written, and then every Sunday night it pulls through that blog post and automatically sends it out. So that can be set up within MailChimp, and ConvertKit's got that as well. So you don't have to just copy and paste and submit and put all the images in again. It's actually pulled through for you. And then you've got your promotional emails, which are your pure salesy emails. So if we were sending something out about the launch of our Content Can e-course, or that we've got something new coming up, or that we've got a early bird pricing on, or anything like that, that is the ask. They're the ones that we're not trying to disguise it. We've got a sale on.
Yeah. Yeah, and people will be looking for that. They'll want to know. They'll want that. They'll want that combination of content as well. So we've already espoused the content calendar. Go and get it. But this is the humble tool that we start with all of our clients when we're doing any consulting work. And when I say any consulting work, I mean any consulting work or any coaching work. Even if my executive coaching, that's purely almost personal based rather than content marketing based, because we sit down and we look at, well, what's coming up, what's realistic to achieve, what do you want to achieve, what should be in here, what don't you want to be in here. But if we were looking at last month, September, for example, you can see that we had the start of spring, we had Father's Day, we had Are You OK Day, we had school holidays in there. For us in the southern states, we had the AFL football going on as well. If it's meaningful to you, we had the International Day of Peace. All of those things could actually give rise to having some form of communication with your client base, depending on who they are. But you would then potentially overlay that with your business birthdays, or with new product arriving, or with a new offer, and then we would sit down and work out, well, where in here are we actually going to send an email, and have that on our list, as Vinny said, so you can actually see that that's something that we've got on the pipeline coming up. Now, somebody asked about subject lines. Do we have a good example of where you can actually get some subject lines? Yes. So we've got a couple of resources here about subject lines, because they are, once the email actually gets into your inbox, the subject line is really going to be the make or break thing that actually gets it opened. So actually having something on there that makes them excited and wanted to read more about what's actually inside, and what they're going to get if they actually open it, is really helpful. So we actually want to tell them what's inside the email so they'll actually open it. And there's a couple of places that you can go to actually test your subject line. So subjectline.com is one of them that you can put in your subject line, and it'll actually rate it for you based on the kinds of popular words that it knows and get responses to. But things like 10 things that you didn't know about, 3 unique Christmas party ideas. Have you heard about this? A summer guide to whatever. So you can actually, think about the kinds of content that your audience is going to be responsive to, given the timeliness of the email send, but potentially also just what you're known for, and what, something new that they haven't heard from you. So subject line is a really great place to go and do that. But then there's this other blog resource that you might want to go and have a look at, which I'll get to in a minute. But it'll have 63 examples of different subject lines that you can use, and they all use these kind of tactics. So one of them is either the time-sensitive tactic, so something about doing something now and responding now, and the other one is also scarcity, because people don't want to miss out on opportunities to dive into something that is only available either on this email list, or for a certain period of time, or for that period of time that is really valuable to them right then and there.
FOMO is very powerful.
Yeah, it actually is. There's all the psychological research on that shows that people actually respond more to missing out on something than to actually gaining something. So, so these are a couple of examples of emails that have worked along the lines of some of the tactics that we've talked about. So this one on the left here is the witchery one. So as a part of your birthday email or your birth date that you've given to them, they will actually send you a reward for your birthday to incentivize you to go in. Now, you can't actually go into Witchery and spend just $20, so it's a way of stimulating sales there. This one on the right-hand side is from ASOS, and this one was actually sent because I hadn't actually bought anything from them for a while. So it says, their subject line is, "It's been too long, here's 20% off." And it says down here, you know, "Have you been window shopping? There's nothing wrong with that, but how about we give you 20% off for something that you've been eyeing off?" So I haven't actually bought anything from ASOS for a while. So that's probably been flagged in their back-end database, and it said, you know, these are the people that haven't purchased anything in a certain amount of time. How about we send them a special offer and see where they go? And that's where the segmenting of your database can become really helpful if you're in that area. These are two examples of where you can celebrate birthdays, but they don't have to be your customers' birthdays. They can be your own business birthdays. It gives you a reason to celebrate and to create some particular offer. So these are two examples as well that have worked, that we've seen. If you're not sure about your open rates, because once you started using an email platform, you will be able to start to see your open rate. So that's the number of people that actually open your emails, and then the number of people that actually click on your email. So they're two different stats. They're really important stats to look at. This is actually a report that was summarized by MailChimp, and every month they update their stats, their industry stats, and what are some of the industry benchmarks of how many people, or what the open rates are for those industries. So it gives you a really good idea to know where you're at and whether or not you're kind of within the range of your emails being opened. I've got to say, most of the businesses that I work with, the small boutique businesses that I work with, their open rates tend to be much higher than sort of these hovering around 20, sort of lower 20 percentage marks. So you might be surprised that when you look at your email rates that they might be a bit higher than this one. That's certainly been my experience rather than being lower. But be across what your benchmark is and start having a look at it. But open rates are great because that gives you how many people are receiving your message. Click-through rates are how many people then clicked through to do something further on your website, which you may or may not be tracking if people can't actually click anything to do anything.
And actually, that's an important point. We haven't mentioned the importance of having the ability to click through from your email. So don't overlook having links in strange places. Your logo, have that link through back to your website, actual text links within the text,
buttons, call to action.
Yeah, click here and have that as a hyperlink. And try to have more than one, so that if they're at the top of the email or the bottom or within the reading and they suddenly decide they want to take action, make it easy for them.
One of the strategies that I've seen is to have the subject line is actually relating to a particular thing that you'll get in your email.
Yeah.
But that particular subject might actually be halfway down the email. So you actually have to then be exposed to these other bits of content before you get to the most compelling content.
Yeah.
I've actually seen that work really effectively, actually, to expose people to, the other messages that you might have, but you want to pull them in by opening them with one very clear message.
We'll give you an example of that when you get your recording of this later.
Yeah. So this is what I was talking about in terms of your an amazing list to go and have a look at if you're stuck for incentive ideas for your email subject lines. So sumome.com/story/best email subject lines, and they have it's 63 different examples where they have different formulas for you to try. So this one, the top 5 ways to burn fat fast. I'm not going to be opening that one, but you can see that you would know the kind of businesses that would actually be sending that kind of email. Results of a case study. So how to do something.
Kylie will be opening Bruce Lee's School of Self-Defense.
Absolutely. Are we doing that one? So if you want to go and have a look at this email, this blog post, it's really quite helpful, and it's a way of kind of generating some ideas. And like we said, good digital marketers are really scrappy, and they're testing all the time. So you might kind of choose 5 different kind of email subject lines out of this one for your next 5 sends, and just see where it gets you. It's also a way of, you know, perhaps some blog post ideas when you're actually looking for what can I blog post around as well.
Absolutely.
So there's heaps here. We can't go through all of them, but go and check it out.
So if you enjoyed this webinar, this was a very good example of one of our bonuses that's in our Content Kin e-course. So it's given you a bit of insight into how we present our content, who we are, you know, how we go about helping take what's in our head, our knowledge and what we read and see every day, and sharing it with those that want to know that, which is you guys. So if you love this, then you're absolutely going to love our Content Kin.
Yeah, because one of the things we've talked about in this is the importance of planning.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And if you get stuck with actually knowing how to do that planning, or other ideas or suggestions for actually things that you can put in there, well, you know, you can imagine that one of the things that we've specialised in over the years is actually helping businesses do that.
So what we mentioned before about the your personas and using your personas to help understand what your customers want to hear about. We cover all of that in our Content Kin e-course. We also cover all the planning and just understanding how what different content you're going to use, how to repurpose that content. So this is a little snapshot of one of the bonuses, which is an ebook, but this will now be loaded in to complement that within our e-course. But today we are launching the opening of our Content Kin, well, I guess it's summer school if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, that we're running, and early bird pricing starts today. So if you feel like you want to give yourself a bit more of a kickstart and some more substance and planning and essence behind this small part, email marketing, which is part of that bigger digital marketing sort of strategy that you want to pull together for your business, then we would love you to come over and join us.
Because we actually show you how to pull all this together.
Yes.
And one of the key things, as Vinny was saying, was looking at the kinds of content that people are going to be really responsive to receiving from you in your emails. And that really does come through from doing your persona work. And we spend quite a lot of time in actually delving into your personas and then working out, you know, for the people that we really want to attract and what we want to talk to, what are they going to really be interested in? And there is a bit of an art and a bit of a science to understanding that. That takes more time to actually delve in, but is one of the most powerful things that you can actually do in your business.
Yeah, and we like to say it's all about courage, content, clicks. So part of the course is actually giving you the courage to know that you've got heaps of information in your head, knowledge, years of experience that is awesome to share with people. So we give you that courage. Then we help you design that in a way that it's really usable, beautiful content, and that will then convert to clicks, and we show you how you can do that. The way we structure the course, there's 2 live webinars that are like today that we spend with all of those doing the course in this session. So that'll be one in early December at the beginning of the course, and then one in February once we feel that everyone's got to the end of it and want to, you know, delve in and ask some questions and just check in with us. And then we've got, it's 6 learning packets, and we've got some amazing feedback that we've had from those that have done it as well. And we'd love to see you all over there.
Yeah. So if you're interested in actually delving into this a little bit further and also feeling really on purpose with your marketing in what you're doing, we got this fantastic testimonial from one of our most recent graduates, and she was actually a freelance social media and digital marketing, content marketing provider for a business, and she got so excited she actually texted me this onto my phone and she said, I just wanted to tell you how I smashed it today. I presented to my client a tailored content marketing strategy and it was so awesome. They were blown away. I couldn't have done it without your Content Kin e-course. I now have bucket loads of works with my client doing beautiful content.
Awesome.
So the course actually does build up a whole strategy over 6 packets. and the live webinars. And once you're actually enrolled, you can start immediately. So there's no reason why you have to wait for it to start as well.
So if you're fired up after this webinar now and you want to keep that feeling, then if you register now, you'll get your $100 saving and you can dive straight into the content. In fact, you could listen to videos of us all night if you wanted to tonight.
You could. It's all there. But yeah, and also we do have a private Facebook group for anybody that's trained with us, and it has just become one of the most awesome parts of our business, because the community that's there are people that have done training. So they're people like you, and you know, in terms of actually contributing to the group and contributing their knowledge and taking care of each other, it's actually really gorgeous. So you get to be able to access us and ask us questions, but the wisdom of the crowd that is also there is just phenomenal.
I'm loving all these alumni are writing all these beautiful comments about it all.
Yeah. So so we would really love to see you there, because we really believe that there's just a few kind of if you could get a few extra little tips and tricks up your sleeve, it will actually transform the way that you do your marketing, but also how you actually feel about your business and actually go about your business. So if you are interested, we really want you to think about considering doing this, because there is a lot to know in this space, and it changes regularly, and we love sharing what we know, which is lucky, because we actually really enjoy kind of bringing together what we know and sharing it with people, and we work really hard to make sure that we're actually bringing the very best of the content to you, so that you're not stuck in overwhelm and wondering where to start. We can actually point you in the very right direction of all the things that you need to know. You can stop thinking that you don't have content to post, because we've already given you some hints here today about the fact that you do have lots of opportunities and content to post. And in the course, we'll even get you to do a content audit, and you'll be amazed at how much content you realize you actually already have at your fingertips that you can be posting. Stop believing that no one is interested in what you have to think or say, because it's just not true.
No.
Or else, why would you be in business? Why would you be in business if that was the case? And also that get rid of that horrible feeling that you have to be all things to all people. You absolutely do not.
That's a big penny dropping moment for a lot of people, to realise if they hone into the people that believe in what they believe, and we help you identify what that is, suddenly you feel like you're talking to your own kin and that they get you, and all of a sudden that fear tends to diminish.
Yeah. And so, and it becomes, and that happens because you do become more purposeful, and you really start digging into the reasons why you're in business in the first place, because that's where all this comes from. Because when you've got a really solid foundation of why I do what I do and what, you know, the things that I believe in, then doing any form of marketing just becomes an extension of telling your story in a really genuine, authentic way. And then, you know, when you overlay that with a really clear vision of what I need to do and how I'm going to do it, then you start getting more confident and you start feeling more in control of things, and you know, actually start getting results for your bottom line. And that's what it's ultimately all about at the end of the day.
And it's a beautiful time of the year to do it too, leading into Christmas, that if you want to just refine things, and especially if you're in a product related business coming up to that busy time of the year, it might just give you a little bit of structure and focus to get your emails out there, to not be afraid of asking, to be a bit more confident in the way that you're marketing using your digital channels that you've got.
Yeah, particularly coming up to Christmas, then you've got massive opportunities to be using your email marketing in particular, and don't shy away from that. You know, because people coming up to Christmas, people also have lots of problems that they need solved. They need solutions and you know, easy outs to help them get through this really busy time, and meet all of their obligations and desires to be a nice human being.
So that's just an overview we've got here of our methodology and what we cover in the course. But all of this, if you head over to OvKin and click on the big, massive Content Kin banner on the homepage, it'll take you to a really detailed page. There's another great video of Kylie and I going through all of this in detail, which that within itself is a learning experience. But we would love you to sign up, make the most of our early bird that is this week only. Tell your friends, maybe do it with somebody else that you know that you think it'd be great to do this together, and then you can be accountability buddies together, and we can keep this journey going. So who's in?
So we'd love to see you over there. And yeah, as Minnie said, you can head on over to Head Up Courses on our website, or the screamingly big banner on the front page of the website is somewhere for you to also get there. So thanks so much for hanging around to the end, lovely people. If you've got any other specific questions that you would like us to tap into, feel free to jump on over to the Q&A and ask away. We're happy to hang around for a few more minutes to respond to any specific questions. And we've really enjoyed the interaction on this webinar today. You guys have totally rocked. Don't be shy to use your email is what we want to say. Don't be shy to ask for email addresses. Have the courage to actually ask for those email addresses, and then have the courage to actually start sending.
Yeah.
Because social media is fabulous, but if you actually want to get serious about converting over and keeping top of mind with people, you really do want to be making sure that you're sending emails directly into their inbox, which is a place that they use every day, multiple times a day, and stays there until they actually do something about it. So it's a really valuable tool for you to have. And if you start with something like MailChimp, you can start for free. So you've really got nothing to lose.
We can guarantee you will be pleasantly surprised at the result.
Yeah.
Just start.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So we had a couple of questions we didn't cover, so I might skip back and cover those, and any new ones, just type them in and we can cover. So Brooke was asking about, she currently pays $40 per email send, and there's about 1,200 people on there. Does it seem quite high? I'm tipping, Brooke, that you're using some external group that you write an email and give it to them and they send it out. And if you're doing 2 to 3 emails a month, that is quite high for that number of people. If you are wanting to outsource completely and you're happy and comfortable with that because you don't have to format the email, I'm not quite sure what they're providing for that amount of money.
Yeah, because I'm of the opposite schedule. Yep. So if she is sending $40 per email to a database of 1,200 people and somebody else is designing it for her.
Yes.
And actually doing the send.
Well, that's what I'm assuming because it's per send.
Yeah.
And it's 2 to 3 emails a month. It just depends. If you want to do it yourself, you can save a lot of money because you pay a monthly subscription and it would be less, it would be slightly more than the amount per email. So it could be around $60.
Well, okay, so we're gonna get to the bottom of this for you, Brooke. If you were using something like MailChimp, it's free for up to 2,000 sends a month. So you could actually be sending it for free if you were doing it yourself through something like MailChimp. As soon as you sort of start sending up around that 2,000 email address mark, pretty much any platform you're going to have to start paying. And that's even if you do it DIY yourself. So what you want to be tracking is what results are you getting out of your email sends that makes it worth it for you to continue to invest. And maybe that's something where like that email ROI template, that website that you can go into and say, well, if, out of my 1,200 email addresses and I'm sending them 3 times a month. So, if I'm converting 10 customers and each customer is worth $100, then it's absolutely, potentially worth it if you've only paid, $120 to send out. So you kind of need to weigh up just what are the results that you are getting. And perhaps even if you're not getting direct conversions that you can measure, what's still worth doing to keep in front of your customers and to keep that learning going is something that I would also be looking at.
I'm not sure if Brooke's still online, but hopefully, Brooke, that's covered your question.
Yeah.
So next one.
So Claire asked if she's had people purchase through her site, but they haven't necessarily signed up. Can I wash out those who purchased but didn't subscribe and add them? Or should I email them and ask them if they realised the other free content on the site that they can they can check out and invite them to sign up? If they've had some kind of transaction with you, I think it's fair enough to say, to do a follow-up email afterwards. And this is something that you could potentially even automate, Claire. So look at the opportunity to say, if these people haven't actually signed up, send out a follow-up email maybe a week later when they would have already got the product, and say, you should have, it's likely that you've received our product right now. We hope you're really enjoying it. We'd love to hear any feedback from you. And by the way, here's some additional supplementary information on the rest of our website, and invite them over to there. So that could be a really nice, genuine, authentic way of tapping into them, and potentially something that you can find an automated solution to do as well. All right, let's jumping down. So Katie said that I did have someone send out a mass preliminary email stating that they were starting a newsletter and they'd like to put me on the list. I could opt out or do nothing, which automatically subscribed me. Seemed like a good approach to permission. Thoughts?
Interesting. I'm hesitant to comment on that because I think legally it's probably one where you might have to check.
Yeah.
I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad approach, but I mean, I kind of think of when Optus tried to automatically put me on a plan by texting me something and saying that we're automatically going to do this unless you opt out. And it made me angry.
How did it make you feel, Katie? That's probably the biggest question to ask yourself. I know I would feel a bit like, where'd you get my email from? Why are you emailing me? Who's sold on a list? Then naturally, they're not positive thoughts.
Yeah.
So maybe go back to how it made you feel.
Yeah, and also, where is it likely that they've received your email? So if they were upfront and maybe they were, said it was a complimentary business that had sent it that they'd named, then you might feel a bit different about it. But the big thing is that you always want to have an option to opt out. So that's the big, thing that all the email providers put in their templates automatically. You don't even have to remember to do it. Is that they always have an unsubscribe button on the list, which is really, really important. I think Ben's right. I would come down to the fact of, well, how did it actually make you feel? Because I think it really depends on the kind of person, the kind of industry, where they were likely to have gotten your email from. It's probably not kosher from the outset, but if it is sort of an environment where they're saying, hey, we think you might be liking this, but if you don't, totally cool, we won't include you. But I think an opt-in is actually always better than an opt-out, but we're pretty conservative when it comes to that kind of stuff.
So Amber's asked, do we use an email automation platform where the email triggers at a certain point in the customer journey? We don't. But I'm sure there are ones out there that exist. I don't know if there are any names that spring to mind that you've come across.
Well, we do in a sense that we use, so ConvertKit, which is the platform that we use, does have a whole lot of automated triggers that happen. So so we actually use it in conjunction with our email course. So when you do sign up for the email course, for example, all of the emails that we have that go out for each of the packets are all customized to you and from your sign up date. So those emails will then go out every fortnight based on the dates that you sign up from. So we actually do that. So ConvertKit has the capacity to be able to do that depending on the kind of sequence that you wanted to put together for where they were at. So in the automations that we use, you can actually have it that if somebody does this, then straight away send them this, and then a week later send them this.
Actually true. And we've also, when you sign up for the social media survival guide, we automatically put you on the digital decluttered automated email sequence. I hadn't even thought about, we have automation and sequences, but it's not, when it was about the customer journey, it's not like it'll automatically by itself trigger at if a customer hasn't bought for a certain amount of time, it won't trigger an email. It's not got that kind of smarts behind it.
No, and those kind of emails work hand in hand with a bigger sort of customer relationship management type database. So back in my big corporate days, we were using something like Cheetah Mail, which also had the capacity to integrate into something like Marketo. So if we had seen that you had purchased this particular product because you'd clicked on something in an email that we'd sent, it could actually track that all the way through to you purchasing that. And then, it could automatically in, say, 3 months' time or, say, a week's time, trigger an email for you to go and write a review about that on the website, or if we'd seen that you hadn't purchased in a certain amount of time, it would send that out to you. If you're using e-commerce platforms of pretty much any description, so my Magento days, if you had put something in your shopping basket but actually hadn't bought it, those platforms also had emails that were sent to you to say, hey, we noticed you've got this sitting in your shopping basket. Here's free shipping, if you then go decide to buy it. So there are lots of different tools you can actually use, but none of them are free. So that I've seen of that so even using something like MailChimp, I think is automations are at $10 even on the smallest free package to get that going. But they can be really worth it and big time savers if it's something that that you're really serious about doing down the track.
Yeah, absolutely. So Lucinda wanted to ask a little bit about the course, Content Kin. Her business is very early in the stages of just a bit of an idea and a concept. We have had people come to us with exactly the same question. If you know where you're going to head with the business and you're still not trying to decide, is it going to be this or that, absolutely it's not too far ahead to do the course, because what it'll help you do is define your customers, work out your plan, work out what you believe in, what your voice is, actually shape the personality of your business. And a lot of the earlier stages of the course is focused around that.
Yeah. And can I tell you, it's really interesting. So Danny, who was that testimonial that I read out, she got that testimonial and she hadn't even finished the course yet. So she'd done like the first 3 packets, and she said, I haven't even got to the planning stage yet, but I'm so excited and I've been able to put all this together from my client for the first part of the course. So she hadn't even finished the course yet.
Yeah.
And she was able to get up and running and do things with it without even actually having to finish it. And what we know is that the things that have been touched on then was the things about understanding why you do what you do, the things that you believe in, and your customers, which all hit up in the first 2 to 3 packets. They are going to be invaluable no matter where you're at in your business journey. We absolutely know that wholeheartedly from the content that from the feedback that we've received.
Yeah. It's so definitely, but if you'd like to give one of us a call, our contact details are on the website. We're more than happy to have a chat, or shoot us an email, because you need to feel comfortable that it's going to give you what you need right now, and we can help reassure you as to where that'll fit into your journey at the moment.
Yeah, and if you do want to come and join the course, early bird, $100 off until Sunday night.
Yes.
So we'd love you to join us for that, if that feels good. It looks like we have dried up all the questions.
Thank you for sticking in. We went way over time, so it was awesome for you all to hang around. And look forward to if there were a few that had to jump in and out. And I know people emailed and said they couldn't stay for the whole thing. So we will now convert this into a recording, and we will send that out via email for all of you.
On the email list.
Yes. I'd say it'll probably be tomorrow, if not tonight. It just depends. It's a long video. It's going to take a while to convert.
Yeah, the interwebs have to kind of work overtime to get this one done. But you've been fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. It's also wonderful to see you there and hear your beautiful questions.
Yeah.
And you make what we do absolutely worthwhile. So thank you.
Cool. All right.
All right, everyone.
Bye.
See you. Enjoy the rest of your day.